And I want to raise some big questions. Why are the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party silent on Bilkis Bano? Should the Ministry of Home Affairs not be explaining exactly what its position is? Why did it grant remission? Will Bilkis become a poll issue? Has Bilkis Bano been simply denied justice? Joining me now, Supriya Srinath joins us in the studio today of the Congress Party. I am joined by Rajat Sethi. He is author, political analyst, but also former advisor to Manipur government, close to the BJP. I am also joined by Subhashni Ali, senior leader CPIM, who is one of the petitioners in the case. Ravi Srivastav is joining us as a AAP supporter. Let's be very clear, we also hope to be joined by Pramila Nesargi, BJP member and lawyer. Let's turn to that core issue. I want to turn to you, Subhashni Ali, first, because you are a petitioner in the case, and one of the arguments just made by the lawyer for the defendants is you have no locus. You have no locus in this case. Why did you choose to take up this particular case and file a petition in this case? Is it because it is a BJP-ruled state?
Well, this is a very, very special case for many reasons, Rajdeep. This is a case, of course, of very horrifying brutality, horrifying violence, horrifying criminality. All of those things are present in this case. But if you have also been someone covering the 2002 riots in Gujarat, this was one of the few cases in which the victim was able to fight for justice for 8 long years, and finally there was a verdict passed against the criminals, convicting them, sending them to jail for life. So actually this was a very important part of all that happened in Gujarat in 2002, and this was the one case in which we saw some kind of justice actually being done. And also the horrifying nature of the crimes that were committed against Bilkis Bano, against her child, against her unborn child, against her nephew who was just born a day before that, and against various members of her family. The brutality of the crime which was committed by people who were known to her and her family, known to her for many years after living together in the same village, and the fact that a woman was raped in front of her mother was raped in front of her daughter and daughter-in-law. All these things made this a very, very horrifying crime, even in the midst of what was a very horrifying pogrom in Gujarat in that year. And after that...
Right. Yeah, ma'am, I'll come back to you, but Pramila Nesargi, you are a BJP member, a lawyer, a woman activist.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what's happened. The Gujarat government has chosen a 1993 policy to grant remission and overlooked its own 2014 policy, which says we will not grant remission to murders and to those convicted of murder and rape. I mean, what's the message that's gone out? And the central government, the Home Ministry, headed by Mr. Amit Shah, has cleared it within a fortnight. I mean, what's the message again that's going out there?
Now, I only want to tell you, I am not justifying whatever has been done. I am not questioning about it. That is pending before the Supreme Court, and it is sub judice. It is for their lordship to decide what has happened. But the only question that I want to pose here is whether they applied 93 policy or some other policy, whether anyone has questioned the policy. The policy decision is always there. No one has questioned till today. Now it is time for the Supreme Court to examine whether the policy was good, whether the policy could have been extended to these convicts, and whether the policy is properly exercised, whether there was application of mind so far as the individuals are concerned. Whether it is not only the good behavior that's in the jail or when they were in parole. That is not the question. Whether these rules could have been applied at all in the circumstances of the case. That is what the Supreme Court has to deal with, and I am sure that the Supreme Court has taken cognizance, and now that they were going to deal with this. Now it is high time that such policies should not remain in the book. I mean, I personally feel that
they've gone by the, you know, there is selective application of mind. Prima facie, there is selective application of mind that you go by a 1993 policy rather than your own government's 2014 policy. But Rajat Sethi, I hate to say this, but today, no BJP spokesperson official was willing to come on the show. We haven't heard a word from Mr. Amit Shah's office ever since August 15 when the remission took place. You're coming in a way here as a BJP supporter, sympathizer, someone who's worked with them. I mean, isn't it embarrassing in a way that India's leading party, largest party in the world, is not willing to speak on a case like this at the moment? Somewhere, it almost seems that they're too embarrassed to even defend what's happened.
Well, I think to some extent what you are saying is right. Just see, there are two facets to what has unfolded in the past 1 month or so. There is this deep emotional aspect of this case, and then there is a legal argument base which the Supreme Court is hearing. If we mix both of these two facets, we'll never reach to conclusions. And I think all the BJP leadership, especially speaking on the emotional side, would not have the conviction to come in and speak and support this. And I agree with that. They are humans at the end of the day. They have an emotional side. We all know how Prime Minister has consistently said that women and women respect is paramount. What has happened in this case?
But those words are empty. They sound hollow. You see, with due regard to the Prime Minister, on the very day on August 15 when he was mouthing these words about women's rights, these convicts were being released and then later were garlanded and were feted by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, which is linked to the Sangh Parivar. That's my problem. The double standards seem to be exposed cruelly in a case like this. Today it's Bilkis Bano, tomorrow it could be someone else.
Well, there is a reason why I had come on your show, because I personally wanted to vent out. I do not agree or do not support any kind of, garlanding or sweet distribution that was done. I don't know those elements who did that. It is shameful. I personally, if it were to me, I would see the remission to be cancelled, and these convicts to carry on with their sentence of life imprisonment, and that should carry on. But remember, the entire philosophy of legal system, the jurisprudence, believes in reforming. Otherwise, the courts of that day could have hung all these 11 odd people who were convicted. When they remitted it and the sentence was reduced down to a life imprisonment, perhaps the courts somewhere believed that there might be a chance that these individuals would reform. Now, whether the reforming could be established through the laws or the policies that were there in place in 1992, whether the due processes were followed in soliciting the advice of these 10-11 member advisory board committee, was it done in the proper procedures? That is for the Supreme Court to decide, and this is what is happening.
I don't think any of us are prejudging what the court is saying, but prima facie it appears that there has been a miscarriage of justice, and it sets a very dangerous precedent for the future. You can reform someone, but that doesn't mean you remit their sentence in the manner where there is no evidence on record of any remorse being shown. But, Supriya Srinath, it's interesting. The BJP is silent, the Aam Aadmi Party is silent, the Congress has taken up this case, yes. But the fact at the end of the day is, how is that? Who is going to deliver justice? Will you make this, say, a campaign issue in Gujarat, which you know is heavily polarized, where every political party seems to be competing for the Hindu vote?
I'll take 2 minutes and say some things, not just as a Congress spokeswoman, but I think as a citizen of this country, and more so as a woman. You asked Ms. Suhasini Ali, what is her locus? Is what the legal
That's the argument that is being made by the defendant.
Yes. Her locus and my locus is exactly the same. Bilkis Bano is a citizen of this country. She is a woman. What happened to her is unimaginable. She was 5 months pregnant. Her 3-year-old daughter, her head was smashed into the wall. Her husband and 7 other members were killed. She and her mother were gang raped before each other. I mean, what is a more heinous crime? And the CBI judge, while opposing this remission, Anand Yavalkar says, this is a heinous crime. There cannot be remission. So A, everybody has a locus to speak on this. B, I disagree. This is neither a legal issue, nor is this an emotional issue. This is actually a moral issue. What has happened to the moral compass of this government? Let us not mince our words, and I'm not politicizing this matter. The Prime Minister from the Red Fort tells the country women need to be respected. Within hours, these 11 convicts, mind you, not accused, they are convicts. Ye doshi nahi hai, ye doshi hai, ye aaropi nahi hai. They walk out free. And on whose behest? The Home Minister, the Home Ministry gave a green signal for them to walk out, and they gave this green signal in a matter of 2 weeks on a one-page letter which said, set them free. I really want to ask the question, and the real question actually lies in your panel today. Why is there no official BJP spokesperson, and where is the Aam Aadmi Party? The Prime Minister has been to Gujarat multiple times. Arvind Kejriwal has been to Gujarat multiple times, almost every week. Why are they not talking about this? Because perhaps the woman at the receiving end, her name is Bilkis and not Bela. And that is what this issue really boils down to, and that enrages me, and it really pains me.
That is a very strong statement you've just made, that because her name is Bilkis and her name is not Bela, you're claiming that that is the reason for the silence. Mr. Srivastava, do you agree with that? Here you are an AAP supporter, your party which otherwise comes on TV on every issue, which says that we are going to fight this battle of Gujarat. In the Gujarat of the Aam Aadmi Party, there is no space for a Bilkis because her name is Bilkis and not Bela, is what the argument is being made.
Rajdeep, on certain issues, the politics has to be kept aside. I fully agree what has been so far discussed here, but I have one question. I am really intrigued at the silence of the centre for full 2 months till this thing came to light that centre had approved that particular remission of those 11 people, and those are the people who were garlanding and giving the sweets and all those things, and they were the party to it. So today the central government of this country stands exposed before the nation that they were
central
deliberately
government stands
hiding
exposed,
it.
but so does the Aam Aadmi Party. You're so transactional. All of you are searching for the Hindu vote in Gujarat. Let's be honest. In my view, when it comes to gang rape and murder, there are no Hindus and Muslims. They are citizens of this country, Mr. Srivastava. Why don't our political parties cutting across party lines recognize that? The Congress seems to have. Why doesn't the Aam Aadmi Party?
Rajdeep, on your channel, I am requesting the Aam Aadmi Party Supremo, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, to come out and condemn it univocally. There is no truth about it. There cannot be any dividing line on this. There cannot be any vote bank politics on this. This is an issue. If there is some embodiment of the monsters is there, I think these 11 people are the bodies of the monsters actually. So the crime is so heinous that they must be put to bar, back to the
these are all nice statements in a TV studio. My worry, of course, Supriya Srinath, is as the Gujarat campaign comes next month, is the Congress willing to take up these issues and make this an issue of justice? And I dare I say for a woman. I'm not going to say Muslim, Hindu, for a woman, because at the end of the day, hers is a case of the most heinous crime that has been committed, and those responsible for it have got away, or at least have been, their sentence has been remitted, and they have been feted in the manner that they have in Gujarat. So I want to know from you, will you all take this up or not, or will the Hindu vote bank play politics there?
Quite frankly, I think we are the only political party that is putting our face out there. And somebody like Rahul Gandhi has made a statement on this, that she deserves justice. What has happened to her is unfair, and we are doing it in the thick of election, no matter what, because I think the dignity of women surpasses everything. Though, I will take 20 seconds to point out, Mr. Kejriwal is not just silent. Mr. Sisodia was in Gujarat today. People, the journalists questioned him. What do you want to say on Bilkis Bano? And he said, "Hum rozgar pe baat kar rahe, jinko us par baat karni hai wo kare." If you cannot stand for the dignity of an Indian woman, what actually do you stand for? And let me also tell you, they are not just missing this debate. They also gave a miss to the Pravesh Verma debate when the media questioned Pravesh Verma for his hate speech. Why do they not come on these debates, and why do they then go and seek votes in parts of India where they are only assisting the BJP is a big question.
You made the point. You made the point.
As a citizen of this country, Rajdeep, it pains me that today the Home Minister, who occupies the chair that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel once did, does not have the moral courage or the authority to come and tell this country he's sorry, he apologizes for what he did, and he is going to correct that wrong. Can Mr. Shah or Mr. Modi do this? They will not, because they don't have any moral courage.
I want to come to you, Pramila Nisargi. I know you are in a difficult position. You're not an official BJP spokesperson, but I know you as a woman of dignity and someone who, therefore, I'm sure will say what is wrong and what is right is right. I just ask you this. Do you concede that when something like this happens, it becomes embarrassing to defend your political party. My point is, if the centre has valid reasons, they should put it before in the public domain. You look at this one-page letter that the centre has put, they've not even explained the reasons why they've gone ahead with the remission. Within a fortnight of this case coming up before them, they cleared it, almost as if they want to time it for the Gujarat election. The Home Ministry is headed by Mr. Shah, and he's not said a word.
Radhev, I just want to tell you, repeating the heinous crime, explaining what happened, it will not help anyone. What we are at a stage when remission is given. The question is whether rules have been framed properly, whether it has been exercised rightly or wrongly. That is the question. The matter is already before the Supreme Court being examined. What do you expect the Home Minister to come back to the public domain?
I'm only asking you one question this evening as a citizen of this country. That's so unfair.
We are a government.
As a woman, do you support what the government has done?
What is to be
Forget
done.
about BJP or the Congress or the AAP party.
I heard you. I heard you. Please, listen first. Learn to listen. I want to, Rajiv has questioned me and I am answering. The matter is before the Supreme Court. It is being heard. Whether law has been exercised properly or not. Remission rules were exercised properly. Whether exercised arbitrarily. Whether the committee which was formed was proper or not. It is before the Supreme Court.
Ma'am, the committee was, okay, these are, I agree with you that these are questions that, ma'am, just a minute.
They are doing dignifiedly.
Okay. I agree that these are questions that the Supreme Court is...
They are telling the Supreme Court. They may accept, they not accept.
Okay, let me just take it for a moment, producer, just a minute. Let me just take it for a moment to Subhashri Ali, because you know, Subhashri Ali, this is a time when I see whataboutery. There are those who will tell me that because this is a horrifying case involving the Gujarat riots, because there is a BJP government there, therefore the likes of Subhashri Ali are taking it up. I want to get that clear once again. Do you believe that this case is about politics at the end of the day? About taking on the Modi-Shah regime of the BJP? Or is this a genuine fight for justice above all else? That gang rapes, wherever they happen in the country, will evoke a similar response from you?
No. I would like to clarify. No. It's nothing to do with that. No, I'm not talking about what government right now. What I'm saying is, it is an absolute travesty of justice that the only case in which convictions were made and people were sent to jail for life for the crimes that they had committed. What has been really shocking is that in this one case, that justice that was seen to be done in 2008 maybe, now seems to have come unraveled with the unqualified release of these 11 criminals who are convicted criminals by the government of Gujarat. Now when you say, do you stand up for other cases, I mean our record, the record of our women's organization, it is all there for anybody to see. We have been trying to fight for justice for women who have been the victims of all kinds of violence in different states of India. I don't think that questions can be raised of that kind. But I would still like to say that this is a very unique case. Even in all the horrors that we see being meted out to women all over our country, this is a unique case in that here justice was seen to be done to some extent after a very long fight, and now that is what seems to be coming unraveled, as I said.
Okay, you know, you want to respond, Supriya Shine. There will be those who will say, look, 15 years is a long time. These are people who've served 15 years in jail. They therefore deserve their freedom or liberty. The point that Rajat Sethi made, that law at one level is meant to be reformative. If it has been decided it's not the rarest of rare that will get the death penalty, life in this case could, according to some views, 15 years entitles you to seek for a remission.
15 years, out of which 4 were spent outside jail on furlough and parole. So let's not lose sight of who we are discussing and what kind of political patronage do they enjoy. I want to make a very small point. The reason why I feel very strongly about this is because the silence of the BJP is deafening. Whether it is Hathras whether it is Unnao, whether it is Lakhimpur, whether it is Uttarakhand, where an Ankita was killed by a kin of the BJP leader.
There have been accusations of gang rapes also that took place after the Bengal elections last year. Would the Congress take up those cases as strongly as you would this?
Because Rajdeep, please understand this, whether it is Rajasthan, a Congress ruled state, or any state, I think the dignity of a woman cannot be met with deafening silence from policymakers. And not on a day when the Prime Minister from the ramparts of the Red Fort talks about the dignity of women, and within hours these people walk out because Amit Shah cleared their freedom. That is so not on. And the deafening silence from the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party puts both these entities in a dock on their role as far as women in this country are concerned. Is there no country for women is a question that many of us, irrespective of party line, want to ask today.
I want to give you a final word, Rajat Sethi, since you said you've come on this show in a way and been honest enough to admit that what's happened has been a bit of an embarrassment. Do you believe the time has come to end the whataboutery? There's too much of whataboutery that happens. Every time you raise one case, people say, oh, what about what happened in the Hyderabad gang rape case? Has the time come to end it? And just say, ensure that Bilkis Bano is given the protection that she deserves as a citizen of India who suffered this heinous crime.
100%, Arjdeep, and this is exactly, you touched upon the raw nerve. You talked about whataboutery, and the moment you said about West Bengal, I was deafened by the silence of the Congress spokesperson. She did not utter a word. She did not utter a word that Rajasthan has the highest number of rape cases.
I named Rajasthan. What part of my answer did you not say?
No, she did name Rajasthan.
What are you talking about?
No, just a minute, Supriya. Just a minute. She did raise Rajasthan.
Not to her. Allow me this thing.
Yes.
I have full sympathy on this case, and I personally feel, as I said, this remission should be cancelled and they should go back to jail. Whatever, sort of legal arguments there might be, Supreme Court should study it and should study it really well. There is this entire board of advisory which has given their commentary. Every single comment which proves that there has been some reform should be proven in the court. Every bit of it, every shred of it. And it's still, if the Supreme Court believes that the remission is perhaps the right legal way to go about it, then so be it. But remember, it is ultimately going to be a legal argument. The conviction, there is no doubt about it that these were the people who were convicts. They have faced 15 years. The question before us is, should they come out at this stage or not? It's not about the emotional side of it. We all are on the same page on that. I'm
going to leave it there. Remember, the panel which was appointed is also under question. Many of them, of course, were BJP MLAs. Some of them said that these are sanskari individuals and therefore they needed a remission. The entire case of Bilkis Bano, therefore, is a reflection and a mirror, in a sense, of certain realities in this country that we need to confront. People often ask me, why do you focus on these cases that lead up to Gujarat riots? Wo to 20 saal pehle hua. We will be condemned to repeat things if we forget and if we don't remember justice in every case. Whether it is 84 with the Sikh riots that took place, pogrom as I call it, 92-93 Mumbai, or 2002 Gujarat, or indeed any act of mass violence in this country. The guilty must not get away. They've got away for too long. And therefore Bilkis Bano becomes a case that is relevant to the times, my friends, in which we live in. Think about it.